Hello everyone, I'm ESVDiamond, and I'm here to do a bracket prediction and preview for the Heroes Rising tournament that's coming up this weekend. For those that don't know, Heroes Rising is the first major North American LAN of 2016. Most of the very top teams will be there, if not all of them. It is crowd-funded. They provided some base stuff and then provided additional crowdfunding options and raised $8,000. This is a real exciting tournament because we're going to get a real good idea of what the North American scene is going to look like in 2016. Uh, LAN events always prove more than online events, and although almost all these teams have played online, this is going to be the first LAN experience for almost all these new rosters, actually maybe all of them. So let's start off, let's talk about the teams, who's going. Obviously the big story and what makes this so special is this is the first LAN that Cloud9 has participated in North America since winning the World Championship. This is their tournament to lose. Anything besides first place, I think in their eyes and the community eyes would be pretty much a complete disaster. They're expected to win this. They are the world champions, and it's going to be interesting. They recently swapped out Fan for Arthlon. Uh, I have two trains of thought about Cloud9 heading into this tournament. The first one is that they'll be in the honeymoon period with Arthlon. Very happy, very excited to play with this new team on LAN. And they will absolutely obliterate this tournament. That's probably the most realistic scenario. The second possibility is I know they haven't had a lot of chances to practice as of late between traveling, limited practice availability in China, etc. The North American scene has grown considerably since they last played in it. If they are anything less than 100%, if they are unpracticed, anything like that, they're going to have a very difficult time. They'll still probably make top two, but it is possible they don't win this tournament. Second team is Tempo Storm, the new version with Shrey at the helm. This is probably the team I'm most excited to see. They changed up their roster quite significantly since last season and have played 0 tournaments with the new roster. Kept it very secret. The new additions are Shrey, Zix, and Goku, replacing Dreadnought, Zuna, and Arthlon. I have a lot of personal belief in Shrey as a player and a shot caller and a leader. I think he's, within a couple of years, is going to be one of the very top players in Heroes history as far as the North American scene. And this is really his chance to take the helm and show that the hype is real. I mean, he was #1 rated player for 2 months in North America. I've personally listened to his shot calling. He used to play for our team. I've seen his play in scrims myself, like personally observing. And I think this is real exciting for Tempo Storm. Obviously, with this new roster and how they've traditionally been, they got to be looking for top 2. That's where I would look to expect to see them, probably. I don't know. I think anything lower than top 3 is not good for them, and they would probably have to go back to the drawing board a little bit. But I like how Tempo Storm rebuilt their roster this offseason. I think they went with one of the best possible scenarios, and I'm really hyped to see him play. Next up is Panda Global. Panda Global, in my opinion, is the most disappointing team of the offseason. When they first built their roster, on paper, it looks like one of the sickest rosters ever. B-Kid's amazing, big impact, legit challenger level LoL player, really good. AKA Face, one of the top supports. Michael Udall, incredible player, and Psalm is great as well. I think Panda Global has one of the most talented rosters of all, and each of their 5 players is a top level player, but for some reason they cannot seem to find whatever it is to make them reliably good. They won one ETS qualifier, and it's the one Bob Ross fan club didn't show up to, and if I remember right, they had an easy bracket. Man, I had really high hopes. When I first saw this roster, I thought this was going to be like guaranteed top 2, 3 in North America coming up, and they haven't looked very good. They just signed with Panda Global as well. I'm sure a lot of pressure is on them to do well, and that doesn't help a team out because they likely want to keep their sponsorship. So Cognitive Gaming. Cognitive Gaming is a team I've been very confused by the decisions they've made in the offseason. Um, First of all, they dropped Shot during the regular season when they were roster locked, and they had to use IV Slime, which, hey, that's just what the rules were. I can't blame them. And I thought once we got past roster locks that they would make some big, exciting change because they had Glaurung, they have Iacona. They basically have Glaurung and Iacona, put a third good player in there and let the other two just get on by. Instead, they had Syracuse. And I'm not sure about that decision. I've always thought Syracuse was one of the lower tier pro players. I hear a lot of good things about him. I don't generally see it when he plays. He's got really poor positioning. There's a lot of things that concern me about Syracuse's play as well as Silo. However, Cog has made one really good decision at an important time heading into this tournament. That's using Caterpillar as a sub. I think Caterpillar is literally one of the best players in North America. Top 5 at the worst, top 10. Wiz rants for hours about how good Caterpillar is. And he can shot call very well. So since they dropped Glaurung, which, again, baffling decision, they could do well. Like, this entire tournament's on Cattle. Iacona will show up and do his job. Killick's okay, and then there's the other two. This is the Caterpillar show. And basically, they're going to be riding on his back. Can he do what Glaurung used to do and get them top 4? Maybe. Murloc Geniuses. Everybody knows Murlocs. They've been around forever. They absolutely refuse to switch their roster. By and far, there's not a North American team that needs to swap their roster more. For going on, 9 months now, they have failed to win anything major and even failed to take, if memory serves me correct, a full best of 3 or 5 off Tempo Storm or Cloud9. And they seem okay with it. I don't understand Murlocs. I think they got one of the best players in North America with Faye on their team. Faye is incredible. She's very skilled. I don't like her personally as far as attitude, but I damn well can respect the play. Faye is insane. And then they got, Faye, they got Fury, okay. It's just basically it's the Faye show. And what crazy shit she's doing this week. I think, to be honest here, if Murlocs don't top 2 this event, they have to change their roster. Like, I know they all like each other, they get along, yada yada. Time and time again, when it matters most, Murlocs have failed to show up. They didn't win. They didn't win in North America regionals, facing a very weakened Tempo Storm. They even managed to horrendously throw a game on Tomb of the Spider Queen. They massively threw a WCA qualifier. When everything's on the line, hell, even when not everything, when some pressure's on the line. In the ETS Grand Final playoffs, they lost to Elevate, which, while I think Elevate's a great up-and-coming team, I think that's almost inexcusable. It's time for Murlocs to put up or shut up. They can't keep telling us how long this roster is going to be amazing one day. They've had 9 months. If they can't do it now, there's got to be a core change. They still should do well. I would be pretty surprised not to see them top 4, I believe. Top 6. But I really would be looking for a top 2 if I was them. They want sponsors. They need the big results. Team Blaze is perhaps the biggest winner so far of the offseason. I don't remember exactly who they changed, but they became really good. They play the craziest comps ever. They were playing Diablo before anybody played Diablo. Team Blaze is a very big dark horse heading into this. They could potentially win the whole thing. I don't think they will, but they could. Any team that plays Blaze has to be on full alert, ready for anything, because that's what they bring. I'm really excited to see Blaze in a LAN environment. I don't think they'll win, being their first LAN, but I think it'll be good experience heading into the future, and will make them stronger as a team. Next team is SK Gaming, formerly known as Team Blank. This team, I really like Team Blank up until they swapped Biceps off. I thought Biceps was their best player on the team. I thought it was a pretty baffling decision. They have some really good players, though. One thing that really stands out to me is they just acquired this SK sponsorship, and they said it's only for this event, and SK might sponsor them later down the road. And you better believe that might depends on the results here. They're gonna want that SK gaming sponsorship, even though SK is sort of a shitty organization these days. They're gonna want that sponsorship, and they're gonna know these results matter, and that's a lot of unnecessary pressure. I think they're not going to do very well. They'll put up some good games, and they'll probably take like single games off some good teams. But without biceps, I thought when they had biceps, I thought they could have maybe dark horse through the whole thing. I don't think they can anymore. I haven't seen them since the roster swap, though. I don't believe. Bob Ross fan club. Bob Ross fan club. The big story heading in. This is the super team that was made in off season. They have been winning everything in North America since Cloud9 has been and Tempo Storm have been absent. All eyes are really on Cloud9 and Bob Ross fan club. People are going to be expecting a top 2 finish from them. I imagine Bob Ross fan club is expecting a top 1 finish themselves. And I don't know if they're going to get it here. What concerns me with Bob Ross fan club is recently they swapped Arthlon for Fan. Not by choice. Arthlon chose to go to Cloud9 because it's a great idea. And I think Fan's a great player. I think he's one of the best players, but I think there's a difference between Fan and Arthlon. And I think that difference is going to sort of show. One thing that always concerned me with Bob Ross fan club, aside for tilting from losing tournaments, was that I felt once they started having to downgrade their roster as sponsored teams picked up their players, even if it's small downgrades. I mean, difference between Arthlon and Fan is minute. Is bad for them. This is a team where all 5 players were the best of the best, pretty much. Not so much Kenma. I love Kenma as a person. I don't think he's the best support there is. And now they've downgraded just a bit. I don't know how that's going to work for him. It could work great. Maybe Fan fits better with him. But Arthlon is actually, when it comes to range damage, is without a shout of a doubt the superior player. And how's that going to affect him? I don't know. I know they've been practicing hard. OVO and King of Blades Alpha, I'll cover both of them at once. They are probably the 2 big underdogs. If you were to power rank 1 through 10, these would be 9 and 10. In that order. OVO 9, King of Blades Alpha 10. Both teams have looked really good in amateur tournaments and the qualifiers, but they have very little best of 3, best of 5 experience and no LAN experience on any player from any team, I believe. If they win a game, it's going to be like, good job. They're not going to win anything. I'm sorry. I think both teams could be really good. They could be mid-tier, like top 8, top 10 teams throughout 2016, but I don't see anything special coming out of them. So let's go to the brackets. Oh, real quick, I do have one thing to say. I understand there's a budget, but if there's only one thing I'm disappointed about with Heroes Rising, it is the choice casters. I believe Gillyweed is fantastic. I love her style. I am really happy she's there. Zoya knows his shit. Good caster, love him there. Where is everyone else? Why is Solid Jake not there? Why no Kubi? Why, 2 casters for this many games is insane. Like, that's way too many games to only have 2 casters live at the event. I hope one thing, caster fatigue is a real thing, and you better believe Zoya and Gilly are going to be wrecked by the end of this. Hopefully neither lose their voice, or it'll be a complete disaster. I hope for future events they make sure to bring at least 3 or 4 commentators, even if it adds to the cost. Like, you need it. You're putting this much money into it, this is easily, all said and done, a $20,000, $30,000 event. Pay another $1,000 and get 2 more casters. Is my only complaint about the whole thing. Also, the information's been hard to get, but that's really minor. So, let's look at the brackets here. It's double limb. It is a 16-team bracket, but only 10 teams are participating. I got the way 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, 10 teams are participating. So there's a lot of buys in the first round. There's actually only 2 matchups. Bob Ross Fan Club versus OVO, and SK Gaming versus Kings of Blade Alpha. I'm going to cover those right now. Bob Ross Fan Club versus OVO 2-0 Bob Ross. There's no way that doesn't happen. If Bob Ross drops the game to OVO, what an embarrassment that would be. OVO is outclassed in almost every role, and while they have up-and-coming potential, not today. 2-0 Bob Ross. SK Gaming versus Kings of Blade Alpha. Kings of Blade have looked like a very outstanding up-and-coming team. However, they haven't really crossed the line yet into like top 8 style of play and what they can do. I think if this match is maybe 2-3 months down the road, that Kings of Blade could put up a real good fight, but again, not here, not now. 2-0 SK Gaming. That's all the matches in round 16, so let's go next round. Alright, we're going to do, just so everyone knows, the winner's bracket first, and then the loser's bracket, and we're only doing day 1. I'm going to do another video for day 2 that'll be much shorter, because there's less games. So in the quarterfinals, we have the big match. This is the match everybody wants to see. This is the money match. I'm hyped for it. Cloud9, Bob Ross Fan Club. There's 2 ways this goes. One is Cloud9, with Arthlon in their honeymoon period, is completely superior to Bob Ross Fan Club and 2-0s them. Close games, but they will beat them good. The other is Cloud9, from lack of practice, has grown weaker, what I talked about earlier. And this could be a very interesting series if that happens. I would imagine still like 2-1 Cloud9. Their LAN experience should pay off. I'm going to go with 2-0 Cloud9, I believe. Yeah. I filled this out earlier. It's possible I may say one wrong, so when I switch over, I'll check. Cognitive versus Panda Global. Can Caterpillar defeat the entire team of Panda Global? Yeah, I think he can. I don't think it's going to be easy, though, and it's going to be a 2-1 for Cognitive, although I wouldn't be surprised at all if Panda won. Tempo Storm versus SK Gaming. I think you are seeing, from my impressions of Tempo Storm, they should have a significant advantage versus SK. SK has potential to upset this, but I don't see it happening. I would see this being a clean 2-0 for Tempo Storm. Murlocs versus Blaze. This is the match out of all the brackets I have the least degree of certainty about. There's only 2 ways this series goes, in my opinion. Murlocs win either 2-0 or 2-1 in a bunch of epic, close, back-and-forth games, or Murlocs are unprepared for Blaze and get 2-0'd. Or 2-1. I think Murlocs will take a game. No, 2-0. I take that back. If Blaze wins game 1 with something unique that frustrates Murlocs, I think they'll take game 2 convincingly. I see that happening. The big question is, how prepared is Murlocs? I don't know how you prepare for Blaze. They'll play literally anything. You can't prepare for this team. I'm going to go with 2-0 Blaze. Oh, wait. I had to put 2-1 SK Gaming. Interesting. Alright. Sorry, I forgot my own predictions. Next round, semifinals, we have Cloud9 versus Cognitive Gaming. Can Caterpillar and Iacona defeat all of Cloud9? No. 2-0 Cloud9. Tempo Storm versus Blaze. If I'm Tempo Storm, this is the series, aside for Cloud9, that I'm most concerned about. For a team with less tournament experience like Tempo Storm than the others as a unit, playing Blaze in a tournament is terrifying. Oh, it's so scary. However, Shrey personally has shot called many times versus Blaze and generally seem to have the upper hand and understand the crap they do. When I say the crap they do, I'm not shitting on Blaze. They're a great team. I think Tempo Storm's going to take this. I don't even remember my prediction. I believe this would probably be like a 2-1. Let's see, where am I? Yeah, 2-1. Alright, I remember my own predictions this time. So this is going to make the winter finals. We've seen this before. Cloud9 and Tempo Storm. I think this would be a really exciting best of 5 to have. I hope this is what we see. I would love, even though I want to see change in NA scene, something would feel right about starting off the year with that. Alright, we're going to go into losers round 2. As you can see, losers round 1 is only buys. SK Gaming versus OVO. I think SK is a superior team. I could see OVO taking a game. I don't remember what I predicted. I would think 2-0 for SK. Bob Ross Fan Club versus Kings of Blade Alpha. 2-0 Bob Ross Fan Club. That's... If there's a series to go out and grab some groceries during, do it during that one. That's not going to be close. Wait. Yeah, okay, sorry. Yeah, 2-0, 2-0. Alright, now we're into the interesting round. SK Gaming versus Murlocs. SK Gaming's got potential. Murlocs is a much more proven team. Murlocs is a, in my opinion, better team. I know I said they need roster changes, but they're still better than SK. I think like 2-1 Murlocs. 2-0 maybe. I'll have to look at my own predictions again. But I think Murlocs is going to convincingly take that series. I'd say 2-1. Blank has some weird, or SK has some weird stuff. Bob Ross Fan Club versus Panda Global. 2-0 Bob Ross. Panda Global is not ready for that. I hope I'm wrong, but they're not. Yeah, 2-1. Alright. And that is where the brackets end for the end of the first day. So what I have is in the winners finals. I guess on my arm. In the winners finals, we'll have Cloud9 Tempo Storm. In the losers round 4, Cognitive versus Murloc Geniuses. And Team Blaze versus Bob Ross Fan Club. All three of those matches are fantastic. If we end up with this as the end of the brackets, we're going to have some good stuff. I'm really excited for this tournament. That's why I wanted to make this video. I'm really interested to see what the new North American scene looks like. This is just a small preview. There's going to be a lot more teams that pop up here soon, but this gives us a little insight. So please support it. Check it out. It's hosted out of Esports Arena. It's called Heroes Rising. It is Saturday and Sunday. Make sure and watch it, and thank you to Alienware for sponsoring our team in this video. Make sure to visit them at www.alienware.com. And I will be doing a day 2 video to follow up. Well, on after day 1. So Saturday night, be watching out. I'll be making one very shortly after the tournament. Have a good one.